Well, this video is either going to make a lot of people happy or a lot of people mad, but in today's video, I'm just going to, just put my foot down finally on this Fullbring versus Dangai Ichigo thing. Because I'm tired of people downplaying Fullbring, I'm tired of them downplaying Fullbring Bankai Ichigo, so we're just going to put the debate to rest today. We're going to talk about Fullbring Bankai Ichigo versus Dangai Ichigo. Obviously, I'm not going to be including Mugetsu because that's a whole different debate and I really don't want to rustle any more Jimnies than I have to. But if you enjoy Bleach power scaling, maybe give this video a like, click that subscribe button. If you're starving for more content, click that join button to become a channel member, which will give you access to debates that I upload and past live streams. So, if that intrigues you and you want more content, click that join button. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into this one. So really, there's like two issues that come down to why people don't think Fullbring Bankai Ichigo is stronger than Dangai Ichigo. The first is that people really blow up how powerful Dangai Ichigo is, which it is a very powerful form. Don't get me wrong, he's able to match 4th Fusion Aizen, who's already said to be transcending every Hollow and Shinigami in the verse. And then he gets stronger on top of that and goes into the 5th Fusion, and Dangai Ichigo is still able to bat him away. So he's still relative to 5th Fusion Aizen, although at that point they're a bit more relative since Aizen's actually able to damage Dangai Ichigo at that point. But for one, there's just like standard shonen power progression. I don't know why it surprises anybody that Fullbring Bankai Ichigo, like the next form in the next arc when Ichigo regains his powers, is going to be surpassing this new form. Yes, they gassed it up very heavily and then they just completely swept it under the rug in the next arc. Like, that's just standard shonen power progression. Remember when Super Saiyan God was a big deal because it could like blow up the multiverse? And then Goku's like, yeah, that's just my base form now, and then I stacked the Super Saiyan form on that, then Kaioken. It happens in every verse, it's just people act like it doesn't happen in Bleach at all for whatever reason. And then there's also the idea that just Dangai Ichigo isn't really anything special. Yes, it's a strong form, don't get me wrong, but the form itself is essentially just Ichigo with 3 months of training. Mugetsu is the special part. That's what's actually like a key takeaway from Ichigo's training. In fact, that's the whole point to his training. Him getting stronger through training with Zangetsu was just a nice side effect. But ostensibly, all that Dangai Ichigo is just Ichigo with 3 months of training with Zangetsu. And because he has such a ludicrous potential, and he was basically getting beat up the entire time, and if you remember from the entire Arrancar saga, anytime Ichigo gets like remotely damaged, beat up, or killed, he gets way stronger when he comes back. So once you kind of understand what Dangai Ichigo is, and you understand that we're reading a shonen where these kind of power cliffings happen all the time, and you basically just demystify the entire Dangai form, then it's much easier to accept what's coming in the next arc with the Fullbring arc, because immediately when Ginjo comes up to Ichigo, he's talking about, we're going to restore your powers, we're going to restore the powers you once lost, which at face value you might be like, okay, maybe he's just talking about like, he's going to restore your powers, like you're just going to be a Shinigami again. Like, not necessarily restore the power you once had, like with Dangai Ichigo, except that's what Tsukishima says the entire time. Tsukishima, every time he mentions Ichigo's power, he's like, you're getting closer to the power you once had. And this is actually more in line with the actual plot summaries, or the plot summaries are like, yes, Ichigo loses his power and then he gets it back in the next arc. So when you look at the plot summaries, they actually treat it as one thing. They treat it as he's regained all the power he's lost. Again, kind of debatable if that includes Mugetsu. But what actually makes this a bit more concrete is that Tsukishima and Ginjo both allegedly know about the entire battle between Dangai Ichigo and Aizen. How we know this is because Tsukishima planted the memories of him helping Ichigo fight Aizen into Chad and Orihime. The weird thing is that Chad and Orihime have no idea what 4th Fusion Aizen looks like. In fact, they don't even know what Aizen's other forms look like. For all they knew, he didn't do any transformations. They had no idea this guy was transforming into like 60 different forms. And yet Tsukishima is still able to place those memories within their memories. He's able to alter that past, meaning Tsukishima had to have knowledge of those Ascended Aizen forms, and if he knows about that Aizen, he knows about Dangai Ichigo. Especially because the 4th Fusion Aizen he places in their memories is the 4th Fusion Aizen from the battle with Dangai Ichigo. It's not even like they caught 4th Fusion Aizen just running around Karakura Town and that's how they know about him. It's specifically the shot from Dangai Ichigo fighting 4th Fusion Aizen. So they definitely do know about Dangai Ichigo and 4th Fusion Aizen. They were aware of that level of power, and yet Ginjo and Tsukishima both claim you're going to regain the powers you lost. For Ginjo, he says you're going to gain a power beyond a Soul Reaper. because essentially the Fullbring is melding with his Shinigami abilities, and it's also his Hollow abilities. And then in Can't Fear Your Own World, we learned that it's a part of the Soul King, so it's like this Soul King, Hollow, Shinigami mixed power. And then Tsukishima, who also has knowledge of this, says that just blatantly he's achieving the same level of power. And this is all just for Ichigo's Fullbring. This is not for his Fullbring Shikai, for Fullbring Bankai. This is literally just for like the Power Ranger form. So then Ichigo mixes his Fullbring into his Shinigami powers and then stacks Bankai on top of that. So Fullbring Bankai Ichigo should be metrics stronger than Dangai Ichigo. And just to put like a final nail in the coffin, when Yuha is talking about Ichigo reclaiming his power, he shows the picture of Ginjo specifically in the little panel where he's talking about, oh, you regain the power that you used against Aizen. You know, he shows the panel of Ginjo when he says that you regained that lost power. So if it isn't just any more blatant, it's like Fullbring is this like crazy transcendental power that Ichigo got, which is helped out by the fact that in Can't Fear Your Own World they say it's from the Soul King. And it would just straight up be like numerous times stronger than Dangai Ichigo. Again, Mugetsu, completely different debate. The reason I keep saying it's a completely different debate is because Mugetsu is blatantly like this higher dimensional ability in Bleach. Like when Aizen sees it, he's like, this guy isn't even in the same dimension as I am. Like, this is not normal. Like, I'm a transcendent being and I can't even tell what this is. He's barely able to rationalize what is in front of him at that moment. And it's shown to be like the final stage of like the Zanpakuto evolution, because you know, you have your base Zanpakuto, then you get a Shikai, you do some training, you get a Bankai, then you do what Aizen and Ichigo do, where they connect their Zanpakuto to their person to where it's like permanently grafted to themselves. Or like in Ichigo's case, he's like in a permanent state of Bankai, right? And then Ichigo takes it a step further where he literally becomes one with the Getsuga itself, right? Like it literally just becomes a form for him. Although weird that that'd be a part of his Zanpakuto evolution, because the Getsuga Tensho shouldn't necessarily be tied just to the Zanpakuto itself, but I see what Kubo is going for in this scene. So on that note, if anybody disagrees about Fullbring being stronger than Dangai Ichigo, we could talk about it in the Discord, but I'm just going to let you know right now, there are quite literally like 16 different statements of either Ginjo, Tsukishima, or the plot summary saying Ichigo lost his powers and then regained them with the help of Ginjo. And then you have like Ginjo and Tsukishima knowing about his powers that he lost. So it just makes their statements even more valid. Yuha even states it like, oh yeah, you got your powers back with Ginjo. You know, the powers you lost when you fought Aizen. Again, honestly, like, people, I like Dangai Ichigo as well. It's like a very cool form, but you need to like demystify it and not be like, it's this thing that can never be surpassed. And just to be real with you guys for a second, okay, power scaling part is over. This is more about like narrative talk. Does it upset me that the Fullbring is stronger than Dangai? Yeah, it does a lot. Because the way Dangai and Mugetsu were set up is that was like Ichigo's ultimate forms, right? In fact, when I read Deicide and I see the ending of Deicide, I think that's actually like a perfect ending for Bleach. I think Kubo could have just ended it right there. It felt very final and very climactic, like it was a perfect ending. But then the next arc comes around with Fullbring, and Fullbring was kind of just haphazardly thrown in here as like this way stronger ability out of nowhere that we've never heard about, and it's essentially just like, what if I took Shinigami powers and Hollow powers and I just smashed them together and I made this new really powerful ability? It just seems like it came out of nowhere, and it's stronger than this other form that's like super hyped up, because you see the transcendent power that Aizen's going through, so you get this feel for how transcendent beings work. And then Isshin's like, we're going to do the same thing to you. We're going to teach you Mugetsu. You know, you're going to get a lot stronger when you train with Zangetsu. And so you build up Aizen and Ichigo to these transcendent levels. And then you have them fighting this big climactic battle, and it's like they're in these higher dimensions. And then we don't get anything else like that for stuff like Fullbring Bankai Ichigo, even though Kubo pushes very heavily for it to be superior to anything Ichigo's had in the past. It would be like Goku getting a new form that surpasses Ultra Instinct. In the back of my head, I know that it's going to happen. But because Ultra Instinct feels like the end goal, it feels like the goalpost. It feels like once Goku gets there, or just has got there currently, it feels like that should be what he focuses on now. It feels like that's it for Goku, right? It doesn't feel like there needs to be anything else. But inevitably he'll get like Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct or Super Ultra Maximum Instinct 3 Kaioken times 100. And even though I like Ultra Instinct a lot, and even though I like the narrative of it being the strongest form, I can't be a baby. Like, power scaling is what I do. And so I'm going to have to acknowledge that even though this form sucks and it completely unearths the entire narrative of Ultra Instinct, it's now the strongest form. It's the same thing with Dangai Ichigo. A lot of you guys might not know, but Dangai and Mugetsu are my favorite forms of Ichigo. I love those forms to death. So that was just me, like, kind of having a little narrative rant right there, because I feel like people are going to comment on the video or come in the Discord and they're going to be like, you don't like Bleach or whatever. You're just here to, like, dookie all over it. It's like, no, it's because I like Bleach that I run this channel entirely, and I have to put out videos like this so people understand how the power scaling actually works in the series, but I don't like it all the time, because it's upsetting. It's because I like Bleach so much that, like, when Kubo does weird things like this, it makes me upset. So I imagine a world where Ichigo went back to the same level of progression that he was at. You know, if he's going to train with his new Shinigami powers, shouldn't he end up being like Dangai again? But then Kubo is like, that was a one-time thing. Let me just swish that in the bucket real quick. And then it also just takes away from, like, the gravity of Mugetsu, because you know how Mugetsu was like a one-time thing and Ichigo completely loses his powers? Well, he can use Mugetsu whenever he wants now, because all of the Shinigami will just come together and make a super awesome spirit sword, stab him with it, and give him all his powers back, so he can fire off Mugetsu whenever he wants. You see, like, why that kind of upsets me narratively? Again, power scaling, Fullbring is stronger, but from a narrative sense, I absolutely hate it. But, you know, I gotta defend it because power scaling. So feel free to come in the Discord. We can debate on Fullbring being stronger than Dangai Ichigo. You know, let me know if there's any other topics like this you want me to cover, because I do like doing videos like this. We're going to talk about inverse Bleach stuff, and then I might get to talk about a little bit of the narrative implications of some things. That's always really fun for me. So, you know, leave any other thoughts in the comments down below. I don't know, you guys might want full Hollow Ichigo versus the Hollow Ichigo that fights Yami. Like, there's a lot of people that don't think Ichigo's holification kept getting stronger after full Hollow. So that would be a very popular video. I'm sure everybody would love that one. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace, late guys.